All right, guys. Today I'm joined by Shannon Mackey, CEO and co-founder of Marketly Digital. They've helped over 2,500 dental practices grow through data-backed omnichannel strategies. Shannon, I'm thrilled to have you on the show today.
Chris, thank you so much. I was so excited to join.
Yeah, I'm glad we could find a time and make it work. So, jumping straight into things, you've been in business for how many years?
1999, baby. I'm an old bird.
Right before the millennium and the clocks were gonna totally blow up the whole world and all the computer systems. Sounds like
Exactly. Oh, we made t-shirts about it and everything.
awesome. Well, I'm curious, given that you've been in the business now for almost 26 years, what has been the one growth factor, that has allowed you to stay afloat and keep growing this business to the success that you've had?
I'd probably have to say it's two. Really, it is relationships and innovation. It's all about really caring about the results and building those relationships with your clients and really getting to know about their business because marketing is very important. And secondly, it's marketing shifts and changes and shifts, so you cannot just stay status quo. You constantly have to be thinking about the next, like what do people really need and how do you become different, because in marketing it becomes a red ocean really quick. So how do you find the blue ocean?
Got it. And throughout your, the lifetime of your business, have you always focused on dental practices or yeah,
I was in dentistry, started in 87, and I was just this snotty-nosed little girl, like telling them how to market and stuff like this, as a little 17, 18-year-old. And then, yeah, I just started marketing them. And then my husband at the time, I'm like, I want a white website with thin lines and a dropping pearl and pixel by pixel. He built it in 1999. And then it just like became an agency and we got real popular. Everybody wanted one of our websites and we were in the industry. I understood their pains and everything else. So that was real easy for us to stay in the niche.
that makes sense. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. As you're growing and scaling, there's always kind of that point where when revenue and cash flow is kind of figured out, then, service delivery becomes a bottleneck, sales becomes a bottleneck, operations becomes a bottleneck. For you, as you were scaling, which one broke first and how did you fix it?
If I can think back that far, I would say scaling. Yeah, because we were just super popular and everybody wanted it. So getting a good team and fulfilling the orders. And it took longer than expected, to build the websites back there at that time. So it was really like we got a good chunk of money, but it would run out because the websites would take us a little bit longer. So really figuring out our operations to what we needed to be charging as you're kind of growing, because you're kind of just faking it while you make it. And so I would have to say that it was more of our, making sure that we're fulfilling the service, even though if it was like our margins were super thin because we were building our branding, we were building our product. And so we had a lot of skinny years, right? Figuring that out in doing that for sure.
That makes sense. And given that, what is the trajectory that you have, in place for the agency moving forward in the next couple years?
Oh, it's a completely different story. I don't know if you have felt this in marketing, but after COVID, just everybody was just slowly declining. And I'm like, I just stood back and I'm like, what is going on with small business, right? It's not just about marketing, it's about small business. What do they really need? Why is it so hard to market now? And then when you're doing the research, it's okay, social media subscribers have doubled. It's not 8 to 12 touch points anymore. It's, double that at least. People need connection. They're just more fragile. Their psyche is just completely changed after that. So, what does that look like? So it went kind of back to the innovation, and that's costly, right? And then you have to decide on, making money like for the future. Do you want to do it alone? Right? Or do you want to start looking at mergers and acquisitions to like really solve a big problem and become the guy, the gal for your niche or whatever, and come super strong at that so you can make some serious money, because there's such a money grab right now, and I say that in the most loving sense for marketing, that if you truly care and you think about how to solve that problem, now is the time to make some serious money as an agency owner and doing things differently. And that's what we're doing. Right? We're like, okay, let's merge with one or two other companies that have really nailed something that we don't have yet, or just they have more clients we can upsell in the dental world, so we can make a bigger mark on that. So that's where we're at right now. It's just like, we were making a good living. You're at about, I mean, in hopes in a marketing agency, you're doing super great at 30% margins, average is 20, and you're just paying the rent at, 4 or 5. And you just kind of do this as an agency owner up and down. Right? So we were kind of in the healthier because we've been around a little bit. But we're like, we want to do something different. We want to be like, we've been doing this long enough and we really want to innovate to be what people really need. We fell upon it, and I'd love to share it, with your listeners and stuff like that, because it's absolutely shifted our clients. But then we're like, let's go all in, baby. And so we can make some real income. And that's what we've been focused on this past year, is proving it out, beta proving it out, what we're seeing the shift, and how to make a big difference for these dental practitioners. But really, it's any service care provider, any professional. It's the same. It's a dentist, a lawyer, it kind
Hmm.
of goes on, whatever agency you have in that world. So that's what we're focusing on.
Got it. Is there any further details you can share about the beta and the
Yeah,
innovation you're doing here?
absolutely. So I mean, you guys, this will click real hot and quick with you guys, right? Being smart, I have to describe this to my clients, but basically it's just going back to zero click, right? It's all about zero click. It's all about being, where your audience is. And in dentistry, we just don't have any competition. They're just doing either they're siloed, paid ads, a little bit of SEO. They're doing just enough marketing to lose. Like, I'm going to just get you 15 new patients. It's not cutting it, right? So it's like, well, you need to be everywhere, right? But how can we do that, right? So what is everywhere? It's omnipresence, it's omnichannel. So if we're doing 10 plus channels, 30 plus touch points every single month, and it's mixing educational with social media, and we're talking professionals. So, Chris, let me ask you, how do you get that from these guys? There's very few TikTok dentists that we all love. No one
Hmm.
really wants to be seeing that, honestly. So, we just figured out some new, cool, creative ways to be like, listen, we're going to come twice a year. We're going to interview you. We're going to write out long form. We're going to write out short form. We're going to get in there and bring props to, like, what was their personality to get them going on certain things. And so we do a day and a half shoot, twice a year, and we have enough to build up their brand positioning. We make them an expert. Like, that's kind of the first 6 months is new website, brand positioning. And then we just make them omnipresent anywhere. And the interesting thing about it, when you're dealing with a professional, that's boring. Like, who wants to go to the dentist, right? Not weirdos do. Let's
Yeah.
just say,
Who
just
wants to get
weirdos,
their teeth pulled
right?
out?
I'm the dentist. Yeah. Weirdo. I kid. Anyway, so it's not like we're marketing pubs or anything that's fun and they get to cheers and beer go everywhere. We have to make them fall in love with this guy that's a little scary. I mean, you're going to lay their head down, they're in your crotch and it's upside down and they're putting water in your nose. And it's like, oh, come to us. We're amazing. So it's like we have to sell them. It's marketing, right? So it's like, listen, we all know you're a professional, you have degrees. We get this, right? You got to relax. And you have to be like, man, I want to have a beer with this guy. Like, I love him. He's not judgmental. He's like, hey, I don't floss every day either. You have to say those things. And so we're prepping them and we're teaching them. And like, what are you willing to say? What's truly your personality? So it's all before that. So we can capture this heart centered content that we can now place out in omnipresence. And do they pay for it? Oh, hell yeah. We post, we do everything. And they don't have an audience, right? So we have to do brand awareness, audience builder, PMAX and, just, all the, a little bit of Google, a little bit of Meta to get that audience builder, a little bit of budget. But if they have a full funnel, right, for a big ticket, we keep that going, but we still need to build their audience. So it's omnipresence with really good content, and we place it everywhere, right? And we're AI focused, right? So what is AI looking at? Because they're going into ChatGPT saying, what is a real good dentist? What's a cosmetic dentist? Like, give me the scoop. They always think ChatGPT's got their back. And so it's a completely different search. So we're focused on LinkedIn articles, like where are they going first because of the high domain and answering questions. And yeah, it's very rare that you would see that in the dental marketing, but even all agencies are slow to do that. And like you mentioned before, AI, it's kind of exhausting us a little bit because we see all the stupid blogs out there and duplicate content, same thing over and over again because we were just throwing it up there, not reading it. But we have to use it for our advantage, right? And then if we're getting that custom content, those videos, so then we can shortcut wherever we can shortcut with AI, have a strategic brain on it, put a little bite size of all these channels, right? All of the channels and in your omnipresence. I'm talking YouTube Shorts, YouTube Community, Threads, Reddit. We even do a newsletter out to their current patient base because they have that audience. So really looking holistically at this business owner.
Wow, it's almost like you guys are coming in and like taking over being their marketing department, not just an agency that's like doing lead gen for one channel. It's all encompassing. Is that
100%. We even talked to them. We're their strategic growth partner. They're like, okay, can you take on more patients? They're like, no. I'm like, well, do you have someone working evenings and weekends? Get an associate and do there because they want to make more income. So we're really walking them through like products, hours, it's because we're doing the market research on what they're searching. Is there a weekend dentist? Right? Is there a dentist that does Saturdays and Sundays? I said, look at these searches. You don't have to do it. You're the owner doctor, but there's associates out there that will do it. And this is the market. There's wellness. There's spa treatments that they can add in. There's, different things that they can do and make them stand apart. Like, we do 10-point exams and, we just don't go $59 free cleaning and whitening. I'm like, oh my God, everybody says that. Like, I will not say that. It's so boring, right? So, like, really being that marketing strategist and for their whole business, even looking at internal, what's your unscheduled treatment? Who didn't say yes to you? What educational, nurture sequences can we put out there for all these patients that didn't say yes? Because it's part of their market, it's part of their marketing, right?
yeah, for sure. There's always this tug of war between sales and marketing. I'm curious how you guys have been able to navigate that with or for your clients or internally inside of your agency.
Chris, that is such a huge question. Like, it's a brilliant question. I'm just going to say, because it's true. It's like, okay, so you have Hildegard at the front desk going, and you're spending $10,000 a month on marketing, and she's not bringing anybody in. And so do you have scheduling online? We're looking at AI agents. We have a call team because we also have, speed to lead and all of the things. So we have a whole metrics dashboard that does call scoring. Used to be people, now it's AI because they've gotten enough information, but they can tell us who didn't schedule why, what phones didn't get picked up. Now I have resources that I can go, listen, you can get this dental VA for $1,900 a month and they can do evenings and weekends. So we find solutions for the sales part of it. I have consultants that can consult your team if they're terrible on the phone, or here is a job description for a patient concierge, which is a salesperson. And I email it to the doctor. I said, fire her and you get a salesperson on that phone because she doesn't need to know Dentrix, or you teach her dental. It's so easy, right? You need a salesperson. You need a concierge that has sold cars. They've worked at the Ritz, a med spa. So we go that far into teaching them because it's like if you don't have a person, we can bring the leads and traffic to them. But if they blow it at sales, you're right. They blow it.
Yeah, that's really interesting. And it sounds like you've thought through this and actually done this for your clients. So it's very clear that you guys care about the results here because ultimately there's no way that you're going to service so many clients if they're not also making revenue and generating revenue from the efforts, right?
Hey man, I'm expensive. I don't come cheap. They have to be getting those patients in and they have to be saying yes to treatment because it's expensive what we do. Like we're doing everything for them.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I'm curious, Shannon, what are the areas of life that you've had to master in order to achieve the success that your agency has achieved?
I would say being a really good mom. I have 4 children, Mama Max, but what I learned from that is I also have a lot of friends, is always being there for people, really listening. My team culture is I have 45 employees. I do monthly PPFs, which is personal, professional, and financial goals. And we do have a lot of remote overseas. I get on the phone with them and I'm like, hey, I have this little life wheel. How are you doing? Negative, minus, plus. Like, how are you doing with your mental health, with your physical health, with this? I give them targets so that they can, make bonuses and that because our companies, our agencies, it's either I want to optimize AI. I do. To where we can to get rid of, maybe some of the VAs, some of this where I can get the strategists and the people that are really smart to run, the omnipresent strategy. We need that, but they need to be taken care of because people are more fragile, right? You talk about your audience, but your team is too. So I would say I'm very caring, very charismatic, like even in masterminds that I'm in, I just listen and I serve them. And that's a big thing I would encourage agency owners. Like I started on this called Backstage Mastermind for dental, and I didn't know how to do it. I'm kind of an introvert, and I'm just like, okay, I've just been sitting behind a desk for 26 years, but I'm going to get out there. And it served me so well to be like, well, what do you need? I just started branding everybody, and I became that expert and just giving. So I was giving to my team. My team will take the hill for me. So as an agency, I would like, hone in your people skills, your negotiations, your charisma. Like you have to be a leader. You have to really think, how can I be innovative? When you're like listening to these amazing CEOs and leaders and stuff like that, they did cool shit. Like they were like, wow, you made that decision and you made, 16 more $billion because you were smart. Like, the horror stories is Microsoft were like, the iPhone will never go. And then they lose all this money. So we have to be, as agency owners, right? Really smart and intuitive to where to take the agencies, but you have to get the people along with you and you have to build. It's not what you know, it's who you know. So build super good relationships and be able to and like you're doing on the podcast, this is building relationships, right? Getting to know people and that sort of thing. So this is super smart, just to open up your world and other people's world, to how can we influence or help other people along the way.
Yeah, I can appreciate that. And it sounds like caring for people has served you extremely well throughout all of the years that you've been in business.
Oh, for sure. I mean, it's like, look at all the clients that I have. They don't leave, right? They know me. I have text. One guy just had this huge, just give you an example, right? He had this huge implant center. He just launched this building. It was like 25 ops. I mean, you would just look at him in Alabama like, oh, he is, doing amazing and everything else. And he just kind of looked frazzled one day. I was talking to him, like upselling him with omnipresence. I'm like, Jason, tell me what's up, because I could just tell. And he's like, Shannon, this year I need to learn how to become a CEO. I have so many fires and I have this and that. Okay, let me introduce you to somebody. I can tell, right? So I upsold him. But he needed it. I knew he needed it. Right? Brought in this consultant. I'd love to read you my text if I had it handy, but he's like, I'd give you a big smooch. He goes, after the first session with this consultant, who I've looked for the past 4 years, I just like, okay, I guess this is it. He's going to save me $3 million within his first whatever he was doing phase of helping him become a CEO and stuff like that. Because I listened and I really cared about him, he'll be a client for life. But then I really helped his business. And I think if we have a bigger vision of just not, I mean, it's like, okay, yes, I got you so much traffic and SEO is this, and trying to educate people on marketing is hard. They don't get it, especially when they have their down months and that sort of thing. But if they're in relationship and you're really looking at their business, they stay with you through the good months and the bad months.
It's, yeah, super powerful. And it's like by helping other people, it just continues to help and serve you. And then that kind of snowball effect happens. So that's pretty cool.
Oh, heck yeah. Yeah. The guy that I referred, he's already referred me 2 clients. Yeah.
That's so interesting because I feel like with so many agencies popping up, you know, there's like this competitive nature. And if instead of being competitive, which I think everybody is, but it's like look for opportunities to collaborate. And it
Mhm.
sounds like that's what you've done here. And it's, paid off
Oh, it's
infinitely.
super powerful. Yeah, I would say if you could merge, if you could collaborate, if someone's doing something better than you and you'd love to add on, they're lonely too, right? And even when you put what you guys are making together, like if you're really looking to exit, like think about building a company to exit. So it's like, even if you don't exit, you build it like you will. So you're like, hey, if I'm making 3 million here and you're making 6 million here, and we're doing the same thing, we have our same clients, we do this, we're at 10 million. And then if we can get up to 20% profitability right now, we're at 15, you can do the math and doing a special offering. Now your EBITDA is crazy. What you guys worth is crazy. You now have locked arms with a like-minded person and you're not on your own island. And then you can really make a difference for all of those. And then you become kind of sexy in the industry to be like, whoa, what are these guys doing? Those guys are super cool, because of what we're talking about. So do that. Like I'm 56. I've done this for a long time. And I've made these smartest moves I've ever had in business over the past 2 years. And I'm like, dang, I wish I would have done this sooner. So just learn from me, especially with what you're saying, all of the ankle biters coming up. And I say that in the most unloving way because these marketing agencies, they take a couple courses that, that sort of thing. They really don't care about the clients. So they're making our job harder because then they don't trust any agencies. They don't really know what they're doing. And it's just a shame. It's just making the red ocean redder. So really standing out from them, how competitive, niching down, super important, but building those relationships and going after that and speak strong to that. And your differentiator for that is of the utmost importance.
Awesome. Great words of it. That was actually going to be one of my wrapping up questions, but you already nailed it. So, Shannon, is there anything else that you really wanted to share? Any upcoming announcements or something that you're looking forward to?
I would just say, and listening to your podcast, so go back and listen to them and staying connected, to all these great, agency owners. And I love that you're doing this because our tagline is marketing with love. And it's that because it's science. It's not that because it's fluffy, because marketing is attraction. We all know that. And that is the highest energy that we could possibly put out. So think about how can I get with love to who I am serving, and even possibly any agency owners that I can collaborate with or merge with in the future if you guys are getting along well together. Think about how to, what it looks like to exit to really make some big money in an agency because you get big impact. Like the more impact that you can have, the more money that you can make, but do good, like do marketing with love to where you're really attracting the right kind of client to the right kind of customer. And in doing that, I think innovating with AI, what does that really mean? So we can put the heart to AI and even the heart to our clients. Like corporate people are just like, you put these butts in the seat and they would abuse them and they just wanted to sell crowns that they didn't need. I mean, that exists out there. We just won't service those kind of clients. So making sure that you have, really heart-centered clients so you can sleep at night and do good things and try to collaborate as much as possible.
I love that. Where can people find more about you, your agency, any of the things that we spoke about here today?
Well, my marketing director makes us content batch every quarter. So we are putting out loads of information on our YouTube. Just go to our website, marketleaddigital.com. It'll lead you to the website. We have some cool ideas. We just launched a new website. We rebranded in January to a new name. My son's taking over the company. But yeah, we're putting out a lot of content and we have a really good SEO director with the latest, that sort of thing. And so, is anybody interested? I mean, I know we're dental niche or that sort of thing, but we're kind of interesting to watch. Some fun videos like a multiple question video on our hero spot. An agency owner could look at that. That's been doing really well for us. For
Mm,
leads, we're also going to get a really smart like video ask quiz coming in so it can qualify our leads a little bit more because we're getting so busy that it's like I don't want to do startups, I don't want to do certain things. So just asking them deeper questions because we're leveling up. So maybe you can take a look around the website and that will inspire them somehow.
awesome, Shannon. Thank you so much for coming on today.
Thanks for having me. This was fun.
Of course. And for everyone listening, we'll try and link all of those in the show notes so that
Cheers.